Hi everyone! We recently did a unboxing video on the Kaweco AL piston and we had some questions in the comments, so I thought we would go through some of them today. The Kaweco AL Sport piston comes in this beautiful tin box. Some questions about the pen body first. This is an AL Sport made from aluminum. And when compared to a regular AL Sport, I have one here. So it does feel slightly heavier than the regular AL Sport, but not very much that if I wasn't comparing them directly like this, I wouldn't be able to tell you that the piston is significantly heavier or if heavier at all. When you hold them in your hands, the Kaweco piston feels slightly heavier than the AL Sport. The piston AL is actually a tiny bit shorter than the regular AL, but when you look at the individual parts, they are actually the same dimensions. So length of the pen, when they're not capped, they are exactly the same, and so are the caps. They are exactly the same length. When you thread the cap back onto the pen is where it's different. So capped like this, the piston AL Sport is maybe just like 2 millimeters, yeah, around 2 millimeters shorter. Can it be posted? Yes, it can be posted. And when it's posted, the length of the pen is again a tiny bit shorter, maybe like a millimeter or two shorter than the regular AL. This pen has a protective cap, like little protective piece over the piston knob. It's designed pretty seamlessly into the body, so there's no problem with posting the cap like this, and it feels pretty great in your hand. One more difference is that the piston AL already has a clip on the cap itself compared to the regular AL. So that's just like a little difference. The nib on this pen is just a regular Kaweco steel nib that's gold colored. So it's exactly the same as this AL Sport. So these are swappable nibs that you would get spare units to swap them out. The unit itself is different. This one is made specifically for the piston. So if you look at them side by side, you'll see that the housing for the nibs look different. The piston is significantly shorter and just a different design, I think, because of the piston mechanism. So this one has like a little O-ring here for like leak issues, I guess. So it's just a different design. So the spare units wouldn't be swappable interchangeably between the piston AL and the regular AL, but I was able to pop the nib and the feed out of the housing, just like you would be able to do with the regular Kawecos. So you would be able to possibly switch them out that way, but I haven't tried that yet, so I wouldn't be able to tell you about that. But the units themselves, the housing looks different and they are not interchangeable. So that was the nib, and let's get into the inside of the pen, the piston itself. So the question is, how much does this pen hold in terms of ink capacity compared to the mini converter that you would use for all the sport pens? I have some water here to test this out. That's a pretty good fill, I would say. And then I'm gonna expel the water into this container, and I'm actually just gonna measure. I actually don't know the capacity of the mini converter. That's from the mini converter. It's really not that much. If you've used Kaweco Sports with the converter, you know that it really doesn't hold that much ink. This is less than 0.5 milliliters. Okay, now I'm gonna do the same with the piston. So to fill the piston, you uncap the little protective thing over here, and then you get this, you see this knob that you can twist. So you would twist it all the way down, and I'm gonna fill it. Okay, I've filled the pen and I'm gonna do the same thing, expel it into this little jar. Definitely a lot more than the mini converter, although it's not, again, not too much ink, but it's definitely noticeably more than the mini converter. So let's see how much it reads on this syringe. Yeah, so this is 1 milliliter. Pretty much exactly 1. It's a little bit more than twice as much as the mini converter. That's pretty cool. So 1 milliliter ink capacity in this one, about like 0.3 or 0.4-ish milliliter in this one. While I have the pen here, let's say you want to clean your pen. So how you would do that is just expel the ink or whatever is left inside by pushing the piston down. And what you would do is just do the same motion with some clean water. Do this motion a couple of times until the water runs clear, and that's how you would clean your Piston AL Kaweco Sport. Alright, so those were all my questions for this video on the Kaweco AL Piston Sport. So just to recap, it is an AL Sport made out of aluminum. The cap can be posted on the back. The nib is just a regular steel nib from Kaweco, and it holds about 1 milliliter of ink, which is just roughly twice as much as the mini converter. I hope this video was helpful. If you were wondering about these details about the Kaweco AL Piston Sport, let me know if you have any more questions in the comments below. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.